Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Battle for Mount Moon, hosted by Arcway Gaming. This is the number 3 in the series. Kirk, doobsnax, Dubé, alongside Josh, Zoinks, Hiebert, and we've got Ascendance going to be trying to tee off against TTV, who scrapped their way back out of the losers bracket to meet Ascendance in the finals. Zoinks Ascendance did not have an easy road to the finals, though, through this winner's bracket, so let's talk about that a little bit and give them some shine, as they have done very well and clutched it out against a lot of teams in this event.
Sure. I mean, you got to start with the beginning of their run. This is a new retooled roster for Ascendance, going to be going with an all NA squad, making a little bit of a transition to try to best put their foot forward in terms of a worlds competition, trying to really put their best foot forward to try to be the top team in NA. So in this run, they were taking down some heavy hitters, like you mentioned. I mean, took down a name called Gengar Goons. We've seen these team quite a bit, never really hitting that top echelon of performance, but is always a name that's in tournament brackets and can definitely be a run killer. Took down Gengar Goons 2-0, and then went up against the Titan of Aphelion Esports, taking them down 2-0 as well. So really nice couple of games, not to mention ran into FF, who is the new retooled NA Bad Macro Flipbird team. So Snow Points, Dexter, Gosu, that squad was actually able to 2-0 them. And not for nothing, FF had just taken down TTV to make their way to that winners finals game. So after all this was said and done, Ascendance is finding themselves on the winner's side of grand finals, and they had to wait, and their opponent ended up being TTV, who fought through that losers bracket to make their way up for this rematch in that grand final situation.
TTV, a very formidable opponent, and not a team that finds themselves having to fight through the losers bracket to make it to the finals, but it seems like it might be Ascendance's day, as they have just kind of run roughshod through that winners bracket here. And one thing I want to note, as the teams are loaded up and we are getting ready to jump down to the action here, is that Kid Tans instead of Toon for TTV.
Yeah. At one point, I believe Toon had to sign off in terms of just time constraints. So then Kid Tans was, of course, our legendary substitute jungler in the Unite scene, a mercenary with a very, very strong reputation in the Unite community. So definitely not losing out on too much when you got Tans at the wheel of that Cinderace.
We're watching these teams scrap over the that contestable APOM. Looks like Slashcan might have picked it up there for our squad to the right. Ascendance, that's willing to fight through. Kid Tans jumped there for a little bit. Indie Bear on the retreat, and so is Goof going to fight from the bushes here, as we know how these bottom lanes try to go. Get as much as you can and try not to go down in the early minutes.
Yeah, Curios putting out quite a bit of damage and has that support from Mopwop just to stay up a little bit. Slashcan as well moving on to this Slowbro, whereas Zugrug's on that Wiggly. Slashcan going to have just a little bit more secure ability in this bottom lane, and right now Ascendance is reaping the rewards. A little bit of a tied-up situation, but wow, Chaotic and Overlord putting the pressure on Lutano, telling the Lutano to get out of their side. Good amount of blocking, a nice early rotation from both junglers to shove things away, and now first Bees are finally popping up.
And they are going down very quickly, as both squads are all over them here, and each one getting about their fair share. Zugrug going to sing in the middle, try and catch Slashcan. Slashcan going to want on the retreat and getting pinned down by the web here, as all of TTV says, that's enough, let's retreat a little bit, and Ascendance comes in and tries to get that contestable APOM. They do, Dino, they do, and now we're fighting through the grass, but Mopwop gets caught in that slow smoke, and now Zugrug gets in the mix here, as Goof was able to take them down, and Slashcan is forced to retreat as a good pressure back by TTV there in the bottom lane.
Yeah, really nice response. This bot lane from TTV has been a titanic force in the Pokemon Unite community for as long as this game has been around, honestly. This triple bot, TTV was slow to pick up this triple bot, trying to run that 2-1-2 composition for a long time, but instead they finally adopted it and mastered it. And look at this, Goof is pressuring in every second chance they can get to try to steal any farm off the map and get themselves some early leveling. And almost to level 6 before we even hit the 7-minute mark is a really good start, especially when Curios has not quite hit that 5 yet.
Absolutely. They're out leveling their bottom lane contenders there on Ascendance, and they have to feel good about that. Chaotic clearing up, already level 8, over leveling on the jungler, Kid Tans. Zugrog catching a couple players there, and that Slashcan stuck in the middle that is asleep, and they're getting worked on by Indian Zugrog as they're working through Mopwalk and trying to pick them up. The slow smoke does so much work. We've seen it getting picked up in droves here since its upgrade, and now everybody seems to be packing it. Look at Chaotic coming in, getting their fair share of the birds, and going to try and get bees, and then try and get in the mix on Kid Tans. Nobody goes down quite yet. Everybody scrambles back to their sides here. 7:05 on the clock, and we have Dreadnought right around the corner.
Yeah, that exchange was definitely a knock back and forth, but I have to give that little skirmish win over to Ascendance. Chaotic on this Talonflame is going to be a massive threat for the squishy targets of Tans, Goof, and Indy. And there we go.
Look at that Unite move. That Unite move picked off 4, just dove in, back, Unite move came through, and they were able to just menace through, but no slouch on their own. Kid Tans getting a couple KOs to try and push the pressure back. Here comes Overlord, top lane menace, as they're working through, and that's 2 players down for TTV, 2 for Ascendance, and now we're working through Dreadnought, but it's TTV that's all around it right now, and the KO streak of 3 ticks up for Tans, as that's Lutano that's able to close out the Dreadnought and Ascendance, although up on the scoreboard, is still behind a little bit in that experience.
Fantastic use of Unite moves out of Indy and Tans, not only to do a ton of damage, find some key KOs, but also to survive. Anytime that Chaotic and Overlord are going to be swinging in with their just high damage, low cooldown abilities, it's going to be a massive team fight threat. But those Unite moves and those buddy barriers keep them alive and just up long enough for Zugrug and Tans and Indy to do enough work, find those KOs, and they get the Dreadnought as a prize.
Absolutely, and now the pressure's going back the other way. The slow smoke's getting caught. Zugrug in here with the Sing, and Slashcan's leading the charge, and they're going to go in and try and get some points in with those extra shields. They're able to get it, but the bees are here. We're working through, and it's TTV pressuring back, and they might get a good portion of those, as Slashcan's going to say, can't take all of them. Let me give me some of that, as they make it back to their goal zone to pressure back out Indy Bear and Zug, who always seems to be in the mix, always seems to be on the front lines of that squad, but also never going down, and now they're working on Slashcan. Slashcan's on the verb, Mopwop on the outside, and here comes K. Good lord, can't even say it. Ivysaur, Kyrios coming through,
in with that pedal dance.
Coming in with the pedal dance, and of course here comes Chaotic to try and cause some chaos against TTV, and Zugrug back in it with the sleep. But look at all those life bars just disintegrating. Mopwalk goes down, and of course Kyrios goes down, and now just a ditch effort by Chaotic to do something in the opposing goal zone as they're eating up winner chicken dinner.
That is oh wow, nice 39-point overcap on the top lane. Got to mention that. That is going to be very, very big in terms of macro gameplay as this game goes on. But that is a Talonflame's worst nightmare. Every Pokemon with like 1-2 HP on those health bars and just not enough cooldown abilities to really be able to find those secures. However, Goof and Zugrug both using their Unite moves in that fight. Now for this second Dreadnought going to be appearing up soon. Ascendance will have a slight advantage. There will be people with Unite moves on the side of TTV, but now they know that they have a little bit less of resistance to work through. Chaotic starts getting hit right at the start of this fight. It's forced the Unite move to initiate this team fight.
And they initiate the team fight indeed. Zugrug getting plucked out. Kid Tan's taking the KO, but the Unite moves are flying here. We just saw a Unite move by Lutano shoot across the screen. Kyrios backing off, and they already seal it up. Kid Tan's already seals it up and gets another KO as the bees are getting worked on by Ascendance here, and TTV was ahead to close the goal zone. And look at that chase on Overlord, just trying to get out of here as all of Ascendance careens into their first tier goal zone to try and keep TTV from getting more points in. And look at Overlord taking this opportunity, trying to get some points in themselves before they scramble back to their side of the board. But Lutano's already on the bees, and Overlord is just trying to find an opportunity to join up with their team as Lutano is just getting worked on. The slow smoke came through. Kid Tan's kicking through as well, but Overlord is just amazing at retreating and able to extend this so much further than I thought they ever could.
Yeah, a really cool just 2 looks at what a Lucario can do in that situation. Lutano is opting to use that power-up punch close combat build with the slow smoke, whereas Overlord is sticking to that bone rush extreme speed maneuver that most Lucarios have been sticking to for a long time. These recent buffs making Lutano make the switch, but Overlord having the advantage in terms of movement. Slashcan just showing off the strong ability of Slowbro to never get KO'd whenever they want to stay alive. And wow, a Unite move out of Chaotic here. Maybe thinking they have time to earn it back, wants to just get some points in and finally apply some pressure. pressure on the TTV.
Slashcan has literally been sitting in that goal zone for about a minute, it feels like. Finally, 3 players down on Ascendance, and that can't be a good look here with 2 minutes and 44 seconds left on the clock. But they're not down out, as the scoreboard is still relatively close to parity when you're talking about Zapdos double ducats. And here we go, Slashcan just chipping in, and is Dreadnought on the menu for Ascendance and this TTV squad, as all of Ascendance kind of seems to be bottlenecked into their bottom lane here, not able to pressure too far forward.
Yeah, TTV are doing a really smart decision there to try to siege that second tier tower. I don't think they had any misconceptions that they were actually going to be able to score any points, especially with these second tier goal zones getting that recent buff, but also just at this point in the game, everyone has these slower, quick respawn timers. Lutano taking a lot of early damage. Chaotic is hunting for this KO, but Lutano's forced to unite move just to survive.
Oh, and they let Lutano go, and that's an interesting maneuver as all of Ascendance peels back to Zapdos. And I thought for sure they had a moment there on Lutano where they're going to be able to take them down. And now everybody's just reconvening. TTV is all over Zapdos, but not starting him. And Lutano, Goof, everybody's full HP, and they're just setting up that defense as we watch the purple pips frame up across the screen.
Yeah, Lutano may have used that Unite move to survive, but it is not a waste because look at the defensive positioning of the TTV now. They have defense in bot, mid, and top. Everywhere they go, they have intel. Anything that Ascendance needs to do right now is going to be completely telegraphed. Chaotic swoops in to try to find a lone Lutano here. Lutano drops that slow smoke for a bit of an escape ability, but is at such low HP, they may have to base, especially when Chaotic is keeping the pressure on.
Looks like they are, and we're watching Chaotic. Chaotic goes down to Indy, and now they're down a player, and they're down their jungler too. And look at TTV kicking it off and all over Slashcan, and Mopwop trying to keep Slashcan up. They're caught in the slow smoke. And look at TTV. It's Indy and Zug, just absolute bottom lane destroyers here, chasing down Mopwop and isolating them out. Curios just forced to retreat, but here comes Zug, of course, always in the face, always present as they get back to the goal zone, loop back around, trying to pick up some HP. And of course, Overload's working through. Big Unite move that actually finds a target there, but not before they are KO'd and they go down. And TTV's feeling good as they only have Goof coming off respawn here in about 7 seconds. And now all of Ascendance needs to regroup and get into the middle here. And they are. Mopwop and Curios working on Zapdos.
It has now become a flip game for Ascendance. Zapdos already at half HP. A lot of Unite moves used. Curios and using that pedal dance to try to get a lot of good damage on while Mopwop used the Unite move. It's a flip situation, and Ascendance is able to take it with that Tail and Flame Brave Bird maneuver. Curios goes down though, and so does Chaotic. These are 2 players down for TTV, and they all have full pockets of 50. Right now, Ascendance needs a miracle to bring it back. Mopwop's able to score, but this is a mountain to climb in terms of points, and I don't think they're going to be able to pull it even with a really nice Zapdos coin flip.
Nope, absolutely not. They came through, just absolutely stepped all over them. Yes, they flipped it, but we've seen TTV do that time and time again. It's all about that defense afterwards, and they were able to take 2 KOs in an instant, and then it was just mobbing and backhaps as everybody had full pockets on TTV. So even if we see some fly one way, they're getting them all back the other. And just good defense despite not getting the Zapdos there by TTV, and a great attempt by Ascendance. I mean, they were able to flip the Zapdos. That's what they needed to at least get the momentum started in their direction, and weren't quite able to convert there as we go through, and we see they lose by 100 on the nose, if I saw that correctly.
Yeah, I believe you're correct. I think 100 points exactly. Ascendance would have loved to flip that script, but even if they did score a 50 banger in one of these goal zones, that would have just tied the game, and we know that the tie game goes to whoever got to that score first. So TTV still would have netted that victory in that situation. So great defense, and honestly, that defense started at the beginning of that Zapdos fight. A huge commit from Ascendance to try to find a KO right before those 2 minutes happened. We're not able to find it, and then that completely split their team. Their team was separated, and the rest of Ascendance was just slim pickings for TTV as they were able to rush in, find these individual skirmishes, get these 3-on-2s, these 1-on-1 situations, and from that point on, Ascendance being in the loser's side in terms of points had to come back, but they weren't able to find the angle until it was just too late. So great win from TTV, putting them up 1-0 in this series. Now reminder, they are coming from the loser side of the bracket. So if they want to win this entire thing, they are going to need to win this best of 3, reset it, and then enter into another best of 3. So a gigantic task for one team that a lot of people consider to be the best in the game right now.
Look, down one is certainly not out, and Ascendance has been winning all day. So they know what to do from here. They need to regroup, get their heads back on straight, and just focus on what's happening forward. That one didn't go their way. They're able to flip Zapdos, couldn't convert, not a big deal. Let's see what Game 2 has in store, and let's see what Game 3 has in store. And let's try and end this thing before we give TTV too much momentum to bring this bracket back to parity. So, buckle up because we got Game 2 on the way. Kirk, doobsnax, Dubé, Josh, Zoinks, Hiebert. We'll be back. Battle for Mount Moon number 3, presented by Arcway Gaming. TTV is up one game, however, they're fighting from the losers bracket, which means they're trying to reset this thing so they can take another level of the grand finals here and then take ultimately the championship. Who's standing in their way? But Ascendance, who's fighting way through the winners bracket. They're there without taking a loss across the board, and they're going to try and stop TTV in their tracks and not allow any of that nonsense to take this win out of their grasp. Yeah. Zoinks. Although Ascendance is down one game, they have been playing well all day long. What do they need to do for some small adjustments here to go ahead and close this thing out in the next 2 games and not worry about a bracket reset?
I think you nailed it just in your throw over to me. That's just small situations that they need to turn around. I think the biggest deal is going to be looking at Ascendance's composition. That Talonflame and Overlord, the way he plays with this extreme speed Bone Rush composition, they need to find values out of these diving situations. So far in that game 1, we're seeing a lot of these dives, but not actually finding the KO secures. That needs to change. These dives need to find value, and we need to see a little bit better of an early game when it comes to Curios and company. We need to see that Venusaur come online a little bit sooner. A Pokemon that scales really, really well into the game and can contest, but if they don't get there soon enough, it could be tragic. So Ascendance definitely needs to just hopefully they're warmed up now. They've been sitting in this side of the winners bracket for some time, so hopefully entering into this game, this will be the turning point for them because they need it. Otherwise, TTV will take this situation, reset the bracket, and run it right back at them.
Well, the teams are loaded up, loaded in. We're dropping down to the action here, and you mentioned it. Something I want to see out of Chaotic is when you shot call those moves of diving in and then Unite moving the whole opposing team into yours. You got to close the door on some of them to be able to get some mileage out of that maneuver, and they didn't quite do that in Game 1, so I'm hoping they change the flavor of it here in Game 2. Mopwop leading the charge to the contestable Audino.
Yeah, Ascendance going a little bit of a faster route than TTV, and it actually pays off. They're able to secure that middle Audino / Can, finding it already at that level 3 experience along with Curios. So matching to their side, Mopwop getting a little bit low in this early exchange, but luckily they are able to push them off, trying to find their own farm secure on their side of the map. So going to be netting them themselves, not really pushing too aggressively yet. However, Curios doing a little bit of Razor Leaf poke damage, trying to find that early farm, getting that comp stronger and stronger with each experience they get.
Overlord putting the pressure onto Lutano. A little bit of slow smoke action by Lutano so they can retreat. As you see Overlord just churning their legs through that butter that is the slow smoke here. And yeah, not surprising, no bottom lane pressure by TTV, who normally try and just babysit past the halfway point here. And now Overlord and Chaotic are going to try and make some moves upstairs as Chaotic just getting in there, getting some bees, and they're putting the pressure right on the player here. And now Overlord is getting caught. Is Chaotic going to come in with the save? No. Kid Tans is able to close it out, and Chaotic says, oh, that was a little too much action for me. I'm going to wait here. Are they going to try and dive on Lutano? Yes, they're going to keep the score from going in, and they're going to see if they can chip away. Lutano at half HP. Do they have slow smoke up? Are they going to use slow smoke? No, not yet. Yes, there is. Bang. And Chaotic just having to dive through and use their maneuvers just to navigate, and they close it out on Lutano. Their persistence pays off in the top lane.
Yeah, really nice use of Aerial Ace there, and now Overlord's back with that extreme speed, and Chaotic nets a double. Really, really impressive play out of Ascendance in that top lane, getting a huge early advantage. As we cut back down to the bot lane, no, it seems that Ascendance also has a slight advantage here. Note that Curios has already hit that Ivysaur, a really nice change out of Game 1. This bottom lane experience is looking fresh out of Ascendance.
7:52 on the clock, and this game looks completely different already texturally from Game 1 here, as now Mopwop and Slashcan are pressuring TTV. TTV forced their bottom lane to go into the middle area and try and get some of those mobs to get their experience up, and that's a great spot to be in if you're in Ascendance, because they could chase them up, and they might have gotten one of the core fish out from under TTV here. Zugra going to work on this middle Audino, and so is Ascendance pulling up, and of course the Sing going to try and stem them out, and it works a little bit, as I believe Indy was able to take that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really nice play. Zugrug's cute charm almost coming online. Gonna really frustrate Slashcan quite a bit, probably. But now those bees are up, and wow, a nice surf out of Slashcan. Gonna be netting their team quite a bit of value. Zugrug really low HP, but a nice skirmish going in up top here. Indy Bear able to take down Chaotic. Yeah, that Eldegoss definitely can throw hands when they need to.
Overlord, could you see that E-Speed just maneuvering up the map and keeping themselves away from Lutano and Indy as Curios is trying to keep the things pressure on in the bottom lane? They do. They pick a KO on Zugrug. Finally, the Zugrug Wigglytuff goes down, and now Slashcan babysitting the grass here as Goof takes the long way around along the beach's edge to see what's going on, try and get some vision on the squad, and all the teams are seeming to materialize around this bottom lane. Chaotic diving in on Kid Tans, but just missing, and misses everybody with the Unite move. And now they're stuck behind enemy lines here as they're getting worked on by Indian Kid Tans. And there we go, a Unite move coming back, or it's not a Unite move, just an attack coming back in, able to seal up Dreadnought Chaotic for Ascendance here, and now they're working through, and with that experience and with those shields, they're going to keep the pressure on. But 2 players down here for Aphelion, and they're going to keep, or for Ascendance, and they're going to keep pressuring as now Indy and Overlord is all over Indy and going to try and close that one up, and Mopwop chipping into Lutano, and finally it seems like the action is dying down here on the beach.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of trades going either way, but the Dreadnought was secured by Ascendance, so their experience lead is going to be huge value here, and now Lutano's in a lot of trouble. Overlord going to net that KO with a lot of help coming out of Slashcan's Surf. So, huge work from Ascendance, punishing Lutano for sticking around a little bit too long there. But now Slashcan having a huge level advantage over Zugrug, almost to that level 9, going to be unlocking that deadly Slowbro Unite move very, very soon.
Absolutely. And now Curios going to try and get some points in up top, but they're working on Lutano, and Chaotic with Curios can be able to do some work. Unite move by Chaotic coming through, and now they're working through as Overlord was stuck behind the goal zone here, but they're going to be able to get points in and then bounce back if they need to. Chaotic moving through, top goal zone cleared, and now Ascendance has to be feeling good as they're all over Rotom, and they close it up just in time to send it down to that tier 1 goal zone.
Yeah, now this is where Ascendance's game plan and composition is really going to shine. They have the experience lead, not to mention the 121 to 27 point lead, but that experience is going to mean that TTV has to play so safe at this moment. Anytime they are able to push, they are going to be at a huge advantage in terms of stats and just in terms of game presence. They don't have to worry about as much because of this huge lead. Curios unlocking that pedal dance, having that movement speed around the map is going to be absolutely massive. Overlord, as we know, always hunting to find a KO target, but Lutano is actually able to net one on Chaotic. Going to be dunking in 40 in this top goal zone, priming it for a really nice overscore.
The action already starting downstairs. Mopwop on the verge. Chaotic not back up yet. As I say that, they are. Dreadnought is here. 4:25 on the clock, and Slashcan is trying to lead the charge into it, and it's just right in the face of TTV, who Kid Tans is chipping into the Dreadnought themselves. Nobody's initiating action. Look at Zugrug just waiting to prey on somebody as the sync comes through, and they identify Overlord, and here we go. Chaotic jumps in the middle. We're seeing the Unite moves fly here, and I think that's 3 in a row, as now Curios is just putting the pressure up, and they're moving through. Overlord used one, and they're moving now, and they identify Goof, and they say, that's my target. They're able to take him down as Chaotic takes down Wigglytuff. Unite move coming back, able to catch Kid Tans and Indy Bear, and now Chaotic's going to try and close it out on Indy Bear. They do, and now they're pressuring the goal zone a little bit as Mopwop is leading the charge. They're able to close it out on Kid Tans, and everybody's going down for TTV. Look at these 90 points going to go in here. Mopwop, Zugrug going to try and stem that, and a Slashcan chips that in, and Chaotic closes it out on the Dreadnought.
Oh, absolutely incredible plays coming out of Ascendance, and now they're just trying to find this score here. 1 point on the goal zone, man, 49 point overscore, 77 for TTV, 221 for Ascendance, and Overlord trying to make it out with their life. But wow, Chaotic dives right back in, trying to save Slashcan, does not able to do it, but forces out a Goof Unite move. Goof, and probably not too worried, can probably net that one back up before the Zapdos fight, but now Curios, the lone defender here in this bottom goal zone, going to be trying to shove off Goof as they run in to try to net a little bit of score.
Overlord takes over the defensive role here, and they're all over Goof, and Goof is just select all backspace deleted from planet Earth here as they're eating up with no pressure whatsoever. Indy and Lutano able to send the Rotom the other way, and where I'm taking a look at where Ascendance is, and they're kind of careening all over their tier 1 goal zone up top, as Slashcan is kind of meeting parity in the middle, getting eyes on the prize, and of course Overlord is going to start working on those middle Bs.
This Rotom probably not going to net them anything in terms of score, but at least it gives TTV just a second to breathe. They know that at least 1 to 2 members of Ascendance have to focus on that because a tier 2 goal zone Rotom is a really big threat. A lot of cooldowns used by Overlord to get out of there, but also burned a lot out of TTV. Gonna make Slashcan have a little bit more of a safe engage here, able to pressure, use that surf, but now they have the defensive positioning. 2 minutes and 15 seconds, and everybody needs to farm up these Unite moves. No one really taking that early presence in Zap Pit now, just starting to creep in on this bottom side. No pressure on top until Lutano and Overlord are both moving there. Overlord going to be using this jump pad to enter into the middle, and Slashcan going to be right there with them.
Slashcan right up top, just getting the eyes on the prize here, and they're up by 113 points, and now it's Ascendance's turn to play some defense here. Overlord hanging out, getting in there. Slashcan Unite moves come up. Chaotic kicks off into the action there in the mix here as all the Unite moves are beginning to fly. We see those buddy barriers kick off. That's a Unite move by Goof, going to try and clean some up, and I think I just saw Chaotic Unite move back through and pick up Goof. And now they're working through here as there's one player down from TTV. Overlord's still up, Chaotic still up, everybody's still up for Ascendance, and they're working through Kid Tans, and that's a big KO on Kid Tans. That's their closeout ability there, and there's a bomb by Chaotic just chasing Zugrog, not letting everybody off the hook, and are pushing through. Slashcan with a great surf and a Unite move by Curios to close it out. And look at all of TTV. They're all shaded up, blue pipped down, and this is going to be an easy convert here for Ascendance if they can just rein in these points and really drive the point home that, hey, we're the winners, we're in the winners bracket, and we're putting the screws to you, TTV. You're not taking this one out from our hands so easily.
No, a minute left in the game, and let's face it, at this point, it's a little bit of a victory lap for us, and it's 421 to 108. Only 50 seconds left. TTV needs to find something, if anything, but what were we just talking about, doobsnax? Those dives needed to find value, and oh my word, did Overlord and Chaotic find value. Lutano caught out a couple times in the early game in that top lane, and then near the end of that game, Goof was just the prime target for Ascendance. They were netting in some huge KOs, and not to mention a couple of really nice Unite moves out of Curios and Mopwop to save Chaotic right at that last minute, keep their HP up, and then they were able to net that surf, making sure that everyone on TTV was down and there was no chance of a Zapdos steal. Really impeccable play from every angle and just macro from the start of the game and just finding a ton of mechanically gifted situations that really gave them this lead. Incredible, incredible work out of Ascendance.
Yeah, we're seeing the times up pop up on the screen here, and I think there's no spoiler alerts in this one that Ascendance went ahead and took it fairly handily here. Let's see how the stats shake out a little bit as we're working through 791 108. Just a comfortable margin there. Just a comfortable margin there. But what I want to see here is the battle data. Let's go ahead and take a quick look. 10 KOs by Overlord. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, 10 out of Overlord, 9 out of Chaotic. That's what happens when this composition finds its footing. Chaotic getting those huge Brave Bird and Aerial Ace dives. A really nice one we saw right, I think, at that like 2-minute mark when they were chasing down Lutano in that early game. That Aerial Ace comes out of nowhere when you hit it early. You do not expect that Pokemon to have that much movement ability, but wow, did it pay off. So a really nice KO, and then we've seen Overlord play. We know that that extreme speed is still just as good as ever, even after a nice buff to close combat. So yeah, highlights are incredible in terms of Ascendance. These players are mechanically gifted, and they got that macro brain to boot. So a really nice win from that team. Really, really strong play overall.
Chaotix dives this game were convertible more so than a Barbie car. Looking good the whole way through. They were just punching everyone's ticket out there. And if they didn't, Overlord was there to clean it up too. Great support by Curios. Amazing game by Slashcan. Their surfs were finding their marks and paying dividends. I mean, we saw Overlord get credit for a KO. You brought it up. But really, Slashcan did all the work on that one. Overlord just E-speeded through as they're running back up top to go ahead and clean it up. Great show by Ascendance. And this is what we've been seeing out of them all day here at the Battle for Mount Moon number 3. Kirk, doobsnax, Dubé, Josh, Zoinks, Hiebert. Game 3 of the Grand Finals coming up next. TTV versus Ascendance, all squared up at 1. Kirk, doobsnax, Dubé, Josh, Zoinks, Hiebert, and we're here with the Grand Finals Game 3 of the Arcway Gaming Battle for Mount Moon. Now, TTV fighting from the losers bracket. They need to reset this bracket and then win another best of 3 if they want to become champions. Ascendance, on the other way, their path is a little easier. They just got to win this game. and they've buttoned it up. They've reeled it up, and they're hoisting the trophy here of the Battle of Mount Moon, and they are the victors. So Ascendance looked great game 2, a lot shakier game 1. TTV, on the other hand, role reversal, of course, looked great game 1. Not horrible, looked questionable game 2, in rare form, we'll say, to what they're used to. What can TTV do to step their game up here with Ascendance? Because that is the game Ascendance needed to carry themselves through this game 3 and become champion.
I think it's going to be a little bit of that situation of defensive play. I need to see TTV not getting caught out, not letting these dives find value. That's what gave them such great strength in that situation in the first game. In the second game, they need to play a little bit more defensive, and I want to see Tanz's target priority get a little bit nicer. In that last fight, we actually saw Tanz use that Unite move and actually targeted on a slash can. I'm talking about that bottom fight with that second Dreadnought when the first tier goal zone went down for TTV. Really huge plays. Unite was getting flown either way, but that Unite move out of his hands ended up getting hit into the worst target it possibly could. Slash can just absorbing that blow, able to keep the rest of the team alive. So just a little bit nicer target prioritization out of TTV, a little bit more communication, and I think this game could definitely go their way.
Yeah, what I didn't see out of TTV game 2 that we definitely saw game 1 was their bottom lane pressure. You know, you kind of picture on the map a horizontal line going north to south right at the halfway point. TTV usually spends a lot of their bottom lane time on the opponent's side of that line. And this game, they weren't really there. And I don't know if it's they didn't feel comfortable or they didn't get enough early mobs, so their levels felt a little low, so they wanted to be cautious and not over pressure. But that seems to be a key to their bottom lane success. As you mentioned, they're one of the best trios out there.
It's true. Yeah, but you have to remember right now that the range they have is out of Pikachu and Eldegoss, but the range out of Ascendance happens to be from Slowbro, Eldegoss, and Venusaur. So they have that 3 range ability is going to make it a lot tougher for Wigglytuff to find these angles in the bottom lane, even early game, because they're going to be trying to pressure against Pokemon that don't have to be in range of their damage when they can be dealing out damage of their own. So that is the benefit that Slowbro is going to give you quite a bit earlier. Not to mention, that water gun can be a pretty nice secure ability.
Absolutely. These teams are ready. We're going to jump down to the action here as we, to the surprise of no one, not a lot of character changes by either squad here.
No, and honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. Both of these teams are actually operating so well on these compositions. I honestly think making a change at this point in the tournament would be a pretty huge mistake. What they need to do is find what they do best and execute it better than the other side. This is one of the most fair matchups we've seen in a long time, and right now, Mop Wop and Slash Can want to make it a little bit more fair in their advantage. But Goof finally securing one of those middle autonos, giving them that early experience advantage.
Yeah, they're going to be working to get to that Thunder, and unlocking that very early is going to be a great way to bring parity on the 3 ranged attackers on the right-hand side of your screen in Ascendance here. Zugrug still pressuring up front, good rollout, bouncing out, getting good distance, able to escape fairly well, but Slashcan and Mobwop not letting Zugrug off the hook too quickly. Curios getting caught in the web, but still hanging out up front, as now they're just working through, and the pressure and the pendulum is swinging into the face of TTV as Ascendance is like, we can play that game too, and made their way across that demarcation point in the middle of the map that I like to call it, and now retreating a little bit as they're up on the scoreboard just a hair.
Yeah, they were definitely putting a lot of extra pressure on TTV's side of the map in terms of their farm, but actually TTV was still able to secure it. So not losing anything in that venture, but nothing ventured, nothing gained, right? Lutano doing a little bit extra pressure, trying to keep up with Overlord, but that extreme speed is just such a threat, especially on those early Bs. Going to be netting Overlord so much early pressure, and now Lutano and Tune are forced to go take the middle experience, whereas now Chaotic and Lutano can go for a little bit of scoring. Chaotic actually heading back to the jungle, but you know what I mean. Absolutely.
The Slashcan using those surfs through the objects, the map objects, has been pretty meticulous with those. Kind of a sharpshooter. It's impressive. Mopwop, however, getting caught in the slow smoke, getting worked on, and a good surf by Zugrug by Slashcan, able to open up the door for Mopwop to retreat if they want, but Zug sings Mopwop and takes him out anyways. So maybe a little overstayed welcome there by Mopwop, as now Slashcan is not willing to let Zugrug without a little revenge, because it's a dish best serve cold finally has to peel back off, and Curios just hanging out on a sliver of health themselves.
Yeah, nice dodge by Goof there. Predicted Slashcan was gonna read him with the surf, but then was able to dodge. But it was all for naught because Chaotic heard the desperate cries of that Pikachu and was able to find its prey as it moved down to the bottom lane. So Croak just desperately trying to get that auto now, but unfortunately not able to secure as Chaotic. Can they make it out? Yes, they just barely do. Oh, well, actually, yes, they just barely do. That red buff on Tans is such a threat when you are trying to escape. Those slows on every basic attack are a problem. And right there, you even finds the KO onto Slashcan.
Absolutely. It finds the KO on Slashcan, and that Leaf Tornado almost chipped into Chaotic to take them out too, which that's kind of why I was reacting. And now Chaotic dive bombing back in and getting some Bs and working through. And Chaotic going to posture for the Dreadnought that's here in 8 seconds. 7:06 on the clock. And we're looking, and now TTV has the small score lead on in their favor.
Small score lead and a pretty small but important experience lead as well. Lucario being that level 8, whereas Overlord is only at that level 7, is going to be a pretty big threat in terms of the secure on this Dreadnought. Wow, this team fight's already popping off.
Just diving in, Curious getting picked off a little bit, getting worked through, but here we go. Overlord's going to find their opponents and going to try and knife right through them as Mopwop to keep the team up. Lutano and Zugrug. Is that Lutano picking up E-Speed this go around? Overlord diving through, KO streak of 2 for Zug, and then that's 1 for Goof as all of Ascendance finds themselves back in their spawn point here. Curious and just Slashcan not interested in protecting that bottom goal zone. They know that's for naught if they show up there. And now Zugrug and Goof going to contest this Audino, and Slashcan going to see if they can maybe chip in with a surf and seal it up, but I don't think they do.
No. Yeah, also off screen right now, Indy Bear was doing a little bit of a jungle invade, but Mopwop and Chaotic sussed it out, were able to find that KO. Zugrug in a bit of trouble here, able to escape. Kyrios only at that level 7, not going to be a huge threat towards the enemy team quite yet. Mopwop and Overlord doing a little bit of pressure to the Rotom, maybe trying to bait Lutano or Tans into a situation where they can find these reset KOs. But no, unfortunately, now the Rotom's going to be a pretty fair trade. Goof using that Unite move basically on cooldown to find a KO. That move is so strong with these recent buffs, but now Big Brother Chaotic is back in the action.
Unite move chips 2 of them, gets the KO on Wigglytuff, and now Goof is chasing Chaotic, and boom! Give me another KO, says Chaotic. You talked about Big Brother falling from the skies. Always got my eyes on you, kid. Picked up everybody in that bottom lane. Good look by Chaotic there.
Yeah, definitely. And I believe that was Mopwop that was actually able to steal a last hit on that Rotom. So really nice work there. I don't remember exactly which direction it was going, but now the Rotom is no more. Both goal zones on the top staying intact. So not a ton of early pressure from either Lucario in terms of dunks, not getting those stacks super high. Okay, Zugrub getting a little bit of early pressure trying to find, but wow, Kyrios is finally able to hit this Venusaur. Now this Giga Drain Pedal Dance is going to be a major problem.
Getting dove on by Goof there to close it out, and Kid Tans for the support on Zug, and maybe Curios not really sussing out the correct situation as there was more TTV players in the vicinity than they thought. Mopwop getting isolated now, stuck in the slow smoke. And look at that. Just look at the TTV squad postured up on the right-hand side in Ascendance's face, and we're going to see Lutano leave this thing at 6, which, as you mentioned, is just great play for future dunks in the game.
Yeah, making sure that score is put in their favor, also not giving the enemy a ton of farm on their side of the map. Want to make it as hard as possible for them to come back in this game. Kirito's still alive. A lot of Unite moves used, though. Now their lifeline is going to be gone. Mopwop soars in with that extra little bit heal, though. Keeps them alive just barely. Zugrug needs to go down for this team fight to go in their favor, but he just will not get KO'd.
Just all over Kyrios getting the KO there. Now Mopwop is putting the pressure on Zugrug as Overlord and Slashcan are all over Dreadnought, and they weren't in the team fight, so you hope they convert on this one. Slashcan bails off a little bit. Chaotic there to babysit, and there we go. They dive right in, but it doesn't matter because Overlord still poaches it out from the nose of their own player here, and Chaotic gets a little Wigglytuff based revenge because they couldn't close out the Dreadnought because Overlord snatched that one. And look at them just all over the goal zone, and Chaotic again providing support there. Mopwop sending in with the Leaf Tornado, and now Chaotic, Slashcan, and Mopwop are all comfortable going back and moving either up top, but getting that HP back either way.
Yeah, really nice steal of that Dreadnought from Overlord. Honestly, it came down to a coin flip. Both Lucarios using their Unite moves, seeing whose giant Aura Sphere could actually take the KO. But Ascendance was able to take it, but they are down by about 20 points, 184 to 169 at 3 minutes and 12 seconds left in this game, and a lot of players showing presence at Rotom right now. Both of these Tier 1 goal zones being up is actually a pretty big threat for when Rotom is going to come down. They want to find this score and send Rotom down all the way to second. Overlord taking a lot of early pressure damage, but so is Goof.
There we go, diving in, and Overlord's kicking off some action. They're going to meet up to this Rotom, but it doesn't matter. Kick Tans closes it out, and now that's an easy score there by Zugrug just to close it out and to send the Rotom further down the lane here and give another thing for Ascendance to keep track of. Overlord working through those bees, getting a bunch of HP back, and now Ascendance kind of moving as a unit as Overlord is just easily taking some KOs here, chipping into Rotom. And I'm trying to watch where the pips are. We see some pressuring back and forth in the top lane. Look at Chaotic and Lutano squaring off in the bottom lane around that goal zone here. Mopwop to pick up the Venusaur Curios.
Yeah, really impressive play across the board for sure. Zugra going for a bit of early presence, and Lutano getting that E-speed presence. Chaotic able to escape with the Brave Bird, though, and is going to be able to get the base. That is highway robbery. Chaotic should be KO'd every day of the week right there. But Lutano not able to secure it, needs to base because Zapdos is in 3 seconds, and they are not hitting that level 13 yet. Overlord, on the other hand, is a level 14 Lucario, which is a menace in this Zapdos pit. Be on the lookout for a lot of KOs.
A lot of posturing happening here, not a lot of action kicking off as Goop gets a quick core fish and Lutano scampering around. Oh, susses out Overlord almost completely in the grass, just in the dark, and nobody's kicking off the action on each other. And as I say that, Slashcan is putting the forward pressure on Zugrug, leading the team in. And Curio's going to be on the backside of the wall. They're going to use their Petal Dance and their Giga Drain range to try and get some KOs. Unite move smashes through, and I don't think it picked up anybody as they're putting the pressure back on, and all of Curios is around Zugrug here. And did I just see a cotton ball from this guy as the Unite move from Goof comes out, Unite move from Curios comes out, and now they're picking back and forth, and Zugrug's the first one to go down. Ascendance is still chipping through. Chaotic able to take a KO on Kid Tans, that's huge, and like dominoes, they might fall here, but Chaotic's on the verge. Not before they take out Lutano. That's 3 players down. That's 3 players in on TTV, and now all of a sudden it's folding around Zapdos as they're going to try and keep Goof and Eldegoss out of the way. Look at that. Leaf Tornado's coming in, Slashcan chipping, and they're going to hope their Surf comes back up, and Curios susses out the attack from the right as now Zugrug comes in and Overlord picks them up. Is the sleep going to be good enough? It is not, as Overlord chases them around. Zugrug might try and dazzling gleam this thing down, but Chaotic comes through, and the right side team, that's Overlord E-speeding through, taking it for Ascendance, and now they just want to rein in these points, and they all got full pockets.
Oh man, the length of that team fight is so in the favor of whoever is able to find that final KO. Tan's able to find a KO on the Mopwop. That could be a little bit of a leading situation, but 228 to 620 points now by Chaotic just getting those points, and that's going to be huge. Right now, TTV only has 17 seconds. All that money is smartly being picked up by Slashcan, making sure that none goes into the pockets of TTV. Really nice macro play, but wow, 8 seconds, and what a team fight to finish that off. That is the power of Curios's Venusaur in those late game situations, and when Ascendance can defend that get down Mr. President mentality that we see in those team compositions is huge, and they were not able to find the KO onto Chaotic or Curios in that whole situation, and that is so much damage left on the field when that happens, and it was just too much for TTV to handle. Then Ascendance wins this game 620 to 228, winning the entire match 2-1.
Let's take a quick look at the battle data here. Something I like to look at, and just Chaotic getting the crown there for their squad and Ascendance as they are now the grand champions. They're the victors of the Battle of Mount Moon. And we take a look, Mopwop, 15 assists, not a bad number to be in, always in the fray. Those Eldegosses tend to have those numbers up. But what an impressive show by Chaotic in this game 3, really helped carry the team. And for me, it was a point and click for them. It was like, all right, Kid Tans, bang. And then the team actually followed them on, and closing out Kid Tans that early in the Zapdos fight, literally left all of Ascendance there to kind of execute their will on Goof and Indy, who were the 2 that were trying to make some miracle plays, but actually couldn't even find a lane to puncture in to try and get near Zapdos. Finally, Zugrug shows up, and Overlord is able to dispatch of them, no ifs, ands, or buts, and of course, in tandem with Chaotic, they're able to seal up Zapdos, and everyone, another important point, nobody on Ascendance went down, and all of them had full pockets, and were just able to rein them all in.
Exactly. And it not for nothing, these last 2 minutes, even for the best teams that we have in the scene right now, these last 2 minutes can get hectic and crazy, and the team comps and the team like communication can go haywire. In these situations, we saw a lot of teams fold under the pressure, but Ascendance never doing that once, especially in these last 2 games. They did have the advantage from this early game pouring into this final fight, especially around that second Dreadnought, some really nice conversions on some KOs. But yeah, losing losing a lot of these situations early game, still able to convert it into the late game win. So really, really impressive work. Way to keep your heads on straight, even after losing that first game, and even after just a crazy 2-minute team fight, converting on the Zapdos. Incredible, incredible work in this grand final situation.
Absolutely. Ascendance, your Arcway Gaming battle for Mount Moon #3 champions. They were in the winner's bracket the whole time. They didn't want a bracket reset. They wanted to start on top, go out on top. They clean the clocks at TTV here, and they get themselves, hopefully, a little bit of hardware, a little bit of cash for taking down the battle of Mount Moon #3. On behalf of Unite Mics, Kirk, doobsnax, Dubé, Josh, Zoinks, Hiebert, we'll catch you next time.